Welcome back to Gillette Stadium, where the history now has the first ever NFL Now show emanating from it. Right here. That was the lush history of Gillette Stadium. As tracked by my wife, Ron Borges.
She had it down.
She had the accent down?
She had the voice down very well. That was about right.
Yeah, she's got, she grew up around these parts. And she also, she came here with her family on those hard benches. Right. The old Foxborough, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in this day and age where all these beautiful new stadiums are cropping up around the league, this one being one of the new ones, right. First new ones in a way.
Sure.
Can you bring home to some people what this place means and how the Patriot Place, there's a Brigham and Women's Mass General Health Care Center and a mall. People might take it for granted when they see this
well, you're right.
here in New England.
You're right, Rich. I think people that don't know the history and don't know what it was like when they first built the stadium, the reason it was built there was the hole was already in the ground. And so the Sullivan family said, well, we don't have to dig a hole. We save a lot of money. So the original stadium cost them, if I remember right, around $6 million. You can't even... the room we're in probably cost $6 million. Right. And for a long time, it was very difficult to get here. There were a famous Monday night story where they beat the Broncos and they tear down the goalpost and they're dragging them up Route 1, and the top of the goalpost hits one of the power lines. Zappo! Like 5 guys are down in the middle of Route 1. That's sort of how it was, and to go from that and the terrible comedy of errors that went on for probably more than half the time I was covering the team before Bob Kraft bought it. And to see what it is now, if you grew up here, you can't believe it.
Can't believe it. I know people who grew up here, they pinch themselves.
Oh, absolutely, Rich. When they first opened the original stadium, they almost shut it down for the first game because the town of Foxborough insisted they have what was called the Great Flush, which was they had to flush all the toilets in the stadium at the same time, and they lost all the water. And they said, we can't open this place. And that's how it was.
No kidding. So what about the future, though, here? Because it can't, Brady can't last forever, although it seems like he can. And Belichick can't last forever, although why not? Right. And the Kraft family has something in place that appears sustainable. What about the future with the Belichick and the Brady? Brady even has mentioned, even though he went in a different direction after 50,000 yards. He can't imagine himself anywhere else. When the season started, he told Andrea Kramer essentially, hey, Jordan played for the Wizards. Right. What is happening here moving forward?
Well, I think as far as Brady goes, Brady understands the history. He grew up as a Joe Montana fan. He saw Joe Montana leave as a kid. He has said to me a couple times, look, I was here when Drew Bledsoe was here. I saw what happened. He had a $110 million contract one year, and next year he was in Buffalo. So he understands that things can change quickly. The Kraft family obviously gives this franchise a sense of stability that a lot of franchises don't have, and I think that will, allow them to weather some difficult moments. But I don't think anybody other than maybe Bill Belichick understands that when Tom Brady leaves, it's not going to be the same. This is a guy who comes by every 25 years. And if you think, well, we're just going to roll into the next guy, it's not going to be that easy. But the Krafts have set up an organization that they feel long-term will allow them to stay competitive. But you got to find a guy who can throw the ball like that.
Yeah, like number 12.
There aren't many.
Right, exactly. And the Jets coming in at 1-5. And the Patriots obviously having bigger fish to fry with in the conference. People might think, well, the rivalry's got a little pizzazz. You're laughing already, right?
Yes.
But Jet Week, what does that mean around here?
What
does that mean around
here? People hate the Jets, and the Jets hate the Patriots, and New England, Rich. New one could hate like people in New England. We got it down to a science. And so even though they're down, it's better when, if they were 5-1, it'd be even better to beat them, But we're happy to pummel them if they're 1-5 and make them feel miserable. Right. And it's funny, like Rex Ryan is a guy that people around here would like.
They would, sure.
He's our kind of guy, except he's wearing the wrong colors, and so we hate him too. I can remember years and years ago coming back here when I was covering the Raiders. Yeah. And in the old stadium, you used to have to walk up this ramp from the field after the game. So I'm walking up with some of the Raiders, and they're screaming at the Raiders, and a guy throws a cup of ice down at Ken Stapler, who immediately catches it and fires it back. The most accurate thing he threw all day. Fires it back and bang, hit the guy right in the forehead. The guy thought it was the greatest thing ever happened to him.
Right. And now this is the city of champions. Everyone's won one around here. Yeah. Red Sox have won three, right? Which is tough for a Yankee fan to say. Celtics, the Bruins have even hoisted the cup there. Yeah, but the first one in the mix Was this team?
Oh yeah, and it was so unexpected, which I guess is sort of, if you knew the history, how it should have been.
Right.
I'll tell a story that I haven't really told anybody, but we're friends.
Well, good. We got 90 seconds.
Will McDonough, my great friend, sitting next to me. I was at the Globe at the time with him, and we're sitting next to each other, and Vinatieri makes the kick to win the Super Bowl. We can't believe it.
Well, you're sitting next to the
Will McDonough.
The Will McDonough.
Right, the greatest sports writer of all time, frankly. And we look at each other, we jump up, we know each other for 30, we jump up, we high-five each other, and then realize, what are we doing? We're going to sit down and start typing like crazy. But everybody was into it. You couldn't not be into it.
Will McDonough, that is the
greatest.
Yeah, that's the Mount Rushmore. No doubt about that. Hey, Ron, thanks so much.
Thanks, Rich.
Appreciate that. You bet. That's Ron Borges of the Boston Herald. How many years have you been with the Herald?
I've been there 7. I was at the Globe for 25 and walked across the street like everybody else.
Got it. Globe? Unbelievable. There you go. That's Ron Borges here on the Rich Eisen Show from Gillette Stadium.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.